So you took the time to decorate a page in your junk journal, and now you're not sure what to write in it. I don't think it's helpful to tell a person with this question to just write whatever you want. If it was that simple, then I wouldn't get questions about it so frequently. While it's true that you can write whatever you want and should feel free to do so, I thought it would be helpful to share my junk journal writing process with you, with the hopes that it will inspire you to write more. In walking you through my journaling process, I'll talk about my go-to writing prompt, planning for writing space, penmanship, and writing utensils. But first, I'd like to say thank you to your creative studio for sending me their June ephemera box. I'll be using their ephemera to decorate this page. You can learn more about your creative studio in the link in the description below. Virginia Woolf said it best in her book, A Writer's Diary. She said to arrange whatever pieces come your way. This is an approach that most junk journal artists are familiar with. We build our books and pages layer by layer to capture a moment or mood with materials that are accessible to us. It is rare for me to know what I'll write about when I sit down at my desk, but as I select materials that I'd like to collage with, I try to take note of how I'm feeling, what's happening around me, or a thought that keeps reoccurring. On this particular day, Baltimore was experiencing the tail end of a hurricane. It was impossible to avoid small talk about the dreariness of the day. Everyone expressed in some way how they wished they were home under blankets or how the rain made them feel sluggish. Writing about the rain became my focus for this entry. More specifically, I wrote about how similar every conversation was, no matter if it was with strangers or family. Despite our collective wants to hunker down and be comfortable inside, we were outside performing tasks that were delegated to us. The rest of the entry follows my thoughts about work culture, productivity, and culture structures that are counterintuitive to what people want and need, like rest and mental health breaks. I'm sharing the specificities of what this journal entry was about to illustrate how a simple idea like rain can evolve into a longer, richer text that captures both your thoughts on the state of things and reveal your personal beliefs and values. I use this journal prompt for almost all of my pages. Start with a simple idea or phrase that feels true to you in the moment, and then begin to write more truths about that idea, or to use fiction writing terms, describe using concrete details. This exercise grounds you further into the topic at hand, and then ask yourself open-ended questions like, what does this mean to me? What does this mean for others? Or you can move into metaphor and ask yourself, what does this topic remind me of? What is it similar to? If you write with curiosity in front of mind, you will have no issues with filling a page with insightful and personal text. If you like to use this prompt in your next journaling session, remember to first find one word or phrase, describe details or tell a story, and then ask yourself, what does this mean? Now, before I start writing, I decorate the page. I usually have my one word or phrase in mind. I'll either stamp it out, type it out, or use my emboss label maker to create a title. Often enough, it will find its way on the page to help me stay focused and inspire design choices. As I'm collaging, I have a general idea of where I want the words to be. Often, they're either centered or justified to the left or right, or I may want to have the words floating in little sections scattered about the page. Or the writing may be written on a separate piece of paper that will be attached or tucked into a pocket later. No matter what I choose, in the end, I know that the placement of the writing comes second. Once the collage is finished, the words will have to work around the art. Despite having a rough idea of where the words will land, it is not the driving factor for my collage choices. You want to be as present for every step of the journaling process as possible, so have fun when you're making the art and don't worry too much about where you're going to place your writing. My absolute favorite tool to use is a line grid to help map out the placement of my writing once the collage is finished. I know the limitations of my penmanship, and writing in a straight line is not one that I'm good at. And for this entry, straight lines is part of my aesthetic preference. But of course, you do what is right for your pages. I have intentions to make an in-depth video about penmanship and hand lettering because I have some suspicions that some of us don't like to write in our journals because we don't like the look of our handwriting. I've personally had a long journey with my handwriting and have finally come to love and accept it for what it is. I do still practice letter shapes and techniques because I think it's a fun way to express myself and practicing does improve your handwriting over time. However, I've given up on the goal of having perfect handwriting, and it has made me love and accept my style even more. With that being said, if you fall into the camp of not liking your handwriting and it's holding you back from writing in your journals, then I recommend these tips. First, you want to experiment with different writing utensils. Because it may not be you, it could just be the pen or marker that you're using that's stopping you from achieving a desired effect. My second tip is to do warm-up exercises before you start writing in your journal. Write a few sentences a few times. This will loosen up your hand and get you into a rhythm for letter spacing and shapes. And my last tip is to use a line tool or mark out your lines. I hope these tips were helpful, and if you need a little more encouragement about what to write about and how to go about doing it in your junk journals, check out the next video for those who are afraid to write in their junk journals. I give practical tips and specific techniques to help you document your life. Thank you for watching.